You don't need to get those, Zach. You don't need that. Go take some ibuprofen, Zach.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is Risen Forever on the opponent. The Southern Brute, Chris Mason.
Well, it looks like Brandon Collins is going to be going up against the current disciple of Simon Phillips. Brandon Collins, the former disciple, so a little bit of intrigue with that.
No, you keep yours. I want How about that?
Flowhawk looks like he's going to be joining us here on commentary.
Justin Flo, welcome.
What's going on, brother?
My man,
Best
what's
commentator on CWF right
tell
there,
him
man.
again. Tell him one more time.
Hope you don't mind, we're going to have Jet Danger here, who just won a very hot-fought battle against the Manimal.
Yeah,
Completely
I seem to remember somebody sticking their beak where it didn't belong. Almost
sure it's me.
Hey, Donnie, watch your mouth. This man, Jet Danger, just earned
It's okay.
himself
I'm used to the disrespect by these two fools right here. Speaking of which, what's with all the cockatiel jokes, huh? You got a lot to say when I'm not here, but all of a sudden, when I'm sitting here, all of a sudden you're shutting up. That's very interesting. Very interesting.
He just said
he can't say anything because you
he
stole
can.
his
Sure he
headset.
can. Look, there's a mic right there. He can do it.
He just said a minute ago he would say something for your face.
I bet he did.
Of course, you're good at stealing things. You stole the CWF title, you thief.
Whatever, man. Look, what? You want it to be sitting at home with Simon Phillips and his poor wee little wrist after what I did last show? Come on now. I'm here to present glory and ramification to the CWF title because for the longest time it's been held by a former cult leader. I mean, what? You want this to be tarnished by Simon Phillips? Nah. See, in my hands, in anybody in Flow Enterprises' hands, this becomes glory. This becomes the ultimate prize no matter where you go.
The gold's getting tarnished by all your hair grease getting on it.
Oh,
right now,
please,
let's
man.
concentrate
As
on what's
opposed to
happening
you.
in the ring. Brandon Collins going up against the unpinned Chris Mason. Chris Mason asking Brandon Collins if he wants out. Brandon Collins is left, or his arm being injured by no thanks to you.
I tried to give, look. I tried to give him so many opportunities to leave the ring. You heard it. Everybody here heard it. And then, unfortunately, he had to deal with what Flow Enterprises does. Whip everybody's ass in that locker room and anybody who challenges us.
You mean attack people when their energy is completely spent?
Well, let me cut you off
Brandon?
right there. Like I
His
said
energy's been
earlier,
spent since last month? I don't think so.
Like I
he came in
said-
there 1-for-5 and we whooped his ass. As simple as that.
like I said earlier tonight, how many times has Brandon Collins and Disobey jumped somebody in the middle of that
That's
ring?
exactly.
Brandon Collins is a changed man.
A changed man, bro. Does anybody really change around here?
Yes, they do. Case in point, Chris Mason here.
The man is smart. He wants money in his pocket. He came to me, and so I gave it to him. And now he's in the main event
That
against
blood
Brandon
money
Collins.
that you collected from that bounty on the Marshal's
It's called
head.
paying it forward,
That's
Donnie.
Right now,
Just a
Brandon
small term
Collins
investment.
paying Chris Mason with a draw kick that sent Chris Mason to the outside. Chris Mason unpinned here in the Coastal Wrestling Federation. Has a little bit of frustration built up
I'm
because he
chilling. You
wasn't
should be
able
worried about
to
him, pal.
defeat or wasn't able to win the D1 championship at CWF
You
Warfare.
see what I mean? Talked a lot of game right there. Went to try and drop kick, baseball slide Chris Mason, and now look where he's at.
They're on the outside there.
This is exactly why you need to keep your eyes on the ball at all times, especially when you're not 100%.
And why is he not 100%? Gee, I wonder.
Because he was
Because of
in
his
the
own
wrong
accord.
place.
Simple as that.
Because of his own accord. Was his own accord to put his... Oh! Speaking of injuring his arm, every time Flesh and Bone meets Steel, Steel wins every time. Chris Mason wrapping Brandon Collins' arm around that steel post, just adding to the damage that you already did, Flowhawk.
He had
Foul
every
Hawk.
opportunity to walk away from this match.
What can I say? You know, I gave him an opportunity to walk away. He got his ass whipped.
The
He got
fighting
hurt more than he
spirit
should've.
of Brandon Collins would not allow him to walk away.
That fighting spirit got him put in the hospital once already.
Brandon Collins eating the onslaught of Chris Mason. Chris Mason, perhaps the most physically imposing man we have here on the CWF roster. Case in point right here.
And you got to think he is very, very unhappy about not coming out of the last month's event as the D1 champion.
He didn't eat the pinfall. It was Jet Danger, I might add, who got pinned by the Manimal,
Yeah.
and Manimal won the title.
A fluke win nonetheless, but hey, we made up for it tonight. And soon he'll be rolling up the ranks to get that Division I championship
Made
from
up
that
for it. You
Cubone Manimal.
attacked Manimal. You inserted yourself in a match when you weren't supposed to. It was not a 2-on-1
I don't know
match.
what you're talking about, dude. That sounds like fake news to me.
Inch or a mile, Donnie. It don't matter if it's by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
Right now, Chris Mason doing a very good job of
I like
winning.
that quote, actually. I like
Oh,
that.
vicious boot to the back of the head from Chris Mason onto Brandon Collins.
He could have just gone back home, but nope. Here he is, getting his ass whipped by Chris Mason.
Trying to mount an offense here on Chris
Ain't gonna do
Mason.
nothing. You walking stick? Come on.
Reverse Irish whipping Brandon Collins into the ropes, following up with a powerful clothesline. Was that enough? No.
Guy's a fool for just keeping his shoulders off the mat right there.
I admire the fighting spirit of Brandon Collins, but I admire his moxie, but sometimes even I have to question his sanity in taking this match.
So what you're saying is he should have walked away.
See? Just like we've been saying the whole entire time. Like Foe Enterprises tried to give him an opportunity to do. You can't help it, man.
He
Some
was
people are just
prepared to
helpless.
face. Oh,
Then again, this is a guy who was formerly in a cult not so long ago, so it makes perfect sense for why he's an idiot.
well, Chris Mason, still a member of that cult, although very suspicious by his absence. Leg drop there when you guys attacked Brandon Collins and Simon Phillips. As a matter of fact, why is he taking money from you after what you did to Simon?
Money is money.
Hey, you know, I'm a businessman now. Flow Enterprises is skyrocketing as far as his marketing goes. We're winning every single time we come here to CWF, whether y'all like it or not. At the end of the day, Chris Mason sees an opportunity to make an extra buck here at CWF, especially with the idiots we got going on with the board of directors. He's looked at my hand, I gave him some money, and now look where we're at. Brandon Collins is getting his ass whooped.
Well, what we're looking at is Chris Mason was trying to make Brandon Collins a one-armed man, almost got the pinfall there, only a 2 count though.
Let me break it down to you like this. If you have an opportunity to put food on your table, are you going to do that or are you going to go hungry?
Right now, it might be Brandon Collins going hungry
You
here.
know, he looked like he gets
I
a
think
lot of
He's full
meals.
of eating all that wrestling mat at the moment.
Might be going
Face
hungry here
getting
because he might be eating a pinfall here from Chris Mason. Chris Mason, the aggressor here for most of this matchup. Brandon
he's
Collins
starving.
trying to mount an offense,
Look at the
trying to
board,
rise
Riz
to the
is showing.
occasion.
You ain't nothing, Brandon.
Laying in those strikes,
Those
daggum.
punches might as well be going through his stomach, through his back, man.
Brandon Collins down on his knees there. Snapmare from Chris Mason. Planting him on the mat. Planting that foot onto the head now.
That's to create his face so much, he's going to put that poor little mask back on.
That boot's what, a size 12, a size 13?
Shoot. Wherever
might
it
be-
is, it's grinding his head into the mat as we speak.
He might be put right back in the hospital with that constructed face.
That constructed face thanks to an attack by Simon Phillips.
Exactly.
Although we should mention that Brandon Collins and Simon Phillips has put aside their differences at this point as best we can tell.
I don't know about you, but a man who crushed my face, I'm never going to forgive. I'd fight that man till the end of time.
Facts.
I got to wonder if Simon Phillips is going to forgive Chris Mason for taking your money. Chris Mason now with the full Nelson. Full Nelson slam onto
That's
Brandon
it.
Collins.
Case closed. 1, 2.
No! The smaller man able to kick out. Brandon Collins, no stranger to beating men that are very much larger than him, has a victory over KJ Impala. KJ Impala, 265, got
And
a victory.
Chris Mason is no stranger to beating people smaller than him.
Very rarely does Chris Mason face a man in the ring that can match him in his physical prowess. Right now, eating that boot from Brandon Collins. Had him scouted that time, though. Throwing the smaller man to the outside. Smaller man throwing that elbow into him. Brandon Collins looks like he's going to try to get some air from the top rope. Crossbar down to Chris Mason. Has the leg hooked. No. Chris Mason able to kick out.
Even when hitting that maneuver, you can see the agony on his face.
Well, that beefy frame of Chris Mason is quite the advantage because it can absorb a lot of punishment, a lot of
Did you
onslaught.
just call him fat?
No, I
Yeah,
said
I'll make sure to tell him that you said that after this match for sure. That's crazy.
what I'm calling him is a beast
hey.
eating the onslaught of Brandon Collins. Brandon Collins flipping up and over. DDT onto Chris Mason. Wasn't enough. No!
Chris said,
Almost a
"Not
3
today."
count. That skull of Chris Mason absorbing the full impact of that DDT, and the Southern Brute still able to kick out.
Stay on him. Stay on him, man.
This crowd chanting for Brandon. Brandon
they
sucking in those cheers and adulation, sucking in that boot as well.
Good night.
Vicious pump kick. Have we ever seen that from him, Don?
Just when you think it's all hope. Oh, the hero's gonna save today. Nope.
Like money well spent for the flow.
You know the best part of this commentary right now? He's not able to talk through the mic. Nobody can hear him at the moment. It's great, ain't it? Oh, hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen
Brandon
at home.
Collins hitting the crossroads onto Chris Mason.
I know
Hitting
you
the,
can't hear
hitting the
Zach.
Collins cross onto Chris Mason.
He grabbed the rope. He grabbed the rope. I know
Whoa,
y'all
hey.
can't hear Zach at home, but unfortunately,
hey.
we can
The
still
will
hear.
you?
great ring awareness from Chris Mason, able to catch that bottom rope and break up the pinfall.
Damn, I think he's
Wait a
hurt.
minute. Wait a minute, Flohawk,
Hey,
what are you doing? Where are you
he's-
going?
He's checking on Chris Mason.
Checking on Chris Mason. Well, what's he doing out here?
He's just checking on Chris
What's a
Mason.
slap? Wait a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner via disqualification, Chris Mason.